As a civilian living in Verdansk, I always get asked, "Oh, mayonnaise, what's it like living in such a war-torn nation?" And to be honest with you, it's nothing too out of the ordinary. I mean, I start my mornings as any normal person would. I wake up, I have a shower, I eat breakfast, I kiss the wife, I jump in the car, I head to the airport, I hit the neighbor's cat, I check to see if the cat is alright, the cat's not looking too great, I poke it, it meows, I get scared, I kick it, it's still alive, it tries to move, ooh, that's kinda gross, it looks hungry, I give it a Snickers, I get back in the car, I drive over a speed bump, oh shit, that's not a speed bump, that's neighbor's cat again. I get out of the car, I take my Snickers back and arrive at the airport at 7:30. I catch the 150-person cargo plane into town, I parachute down to work, lose half my health, and die before touching the ground. And that's all there is to it, really. Ah, snap. Looks like I've been kidnapped by the local militia again. I am then transported and locked in a room where I'm forced to stare at TV static for hours. Not very imaginative on their part, I must say. Like, maybe you could chuck on a bit of music, get a little bit of ambience going. Just because someone's your prisoner of war does not mean you have to treat them like one. Like, would it kill you to be nice for once? As I wait for my turn, I head up to the viewing decks, and to my surprise, I find Lana Rhodes running it up in the gulag. And then immediately after receiving a Russian flashbang from Lana's male talent, I'm then fed to a sweaty, sunlight-deprived 10-year-old, in which I do not fare too well, and I end up taking a lead-induced nap for a wee while. After I awake from my slumber, I decide it's probably best to start collecting some supplies for my store, and as an honest citizen living in Verdansk, it is vital to maintain order amongst the chaos, and most importantly, maintain your morals in such a corrupt town, which is why when I forcefully enter someone's home and permanently borrow their belongings, I always sell their items in my shop at a premium, as they probably meant a lot to their previous owners. And as I'm liberating this household's goods, I notice someone standing around the corner, so I act as any companionship-deprived epic gamer would, and swiftly fall to my knees at her behind and sniff her farts. But all was not well. She's one of those girls who post on their story videos of their friends jumping up with the caption, "crackhead energy." As a man who has indeed consumed a fair amount of crack in his days, I can tell you for a fact that this is a false statement, and so I do what I must, and perform a delicate removal of her appendix. I make my way out of the bustling streets of downtown Verdansk and towards the hospital on my mission for news stocks. I stumble across some UN relief tents and realize that they are absolutely stacked with food, water, weapons, Yu-Gi-Oh cards and other goodies. So I tack some supplies to my storefront. It's not like they're gonna need these supplies anyway. Like, what are they gonna do with them? Feed the poor? Bloody idiots. However, it appears my neighbor is raining sniper fire down on me. This is fairly odd. Perhaps he is seeking vengeance for his cat that I may have accidentally killed on my commute. Or, perhaps more likely, because I didn't give him a bite of my Snickers. Luckily, I'm a master of an art form called sniper evasion tactics, and I am therefore untouchable. But little did I know, my neighbor was hacking, because there's literally no possible way he hit me without using aimbot. I've arrived back in the gulag, or as they say in the native tongue, the gulag. And this time, we're playing a friendly game of hide and seek, but instead of taking the other person with your hand, use your XM4. So as always, I'm about to destroy this man's whole career faster than a tuna sandwich on the Ellen Show. We swiftly conclude our game of hide and seek with a few friendly pieces of lead to the chest. And you know, some people might have a slight problem with playing hide and seek to the death, but it's okay. This guy is one of those kids that chews their food with their mouth open, and after you politely ask them to stop, they will intentionally start chewing louder, and you can see the little bits of chewed up food in their mouth as their lips start ever so violently smacking together. So I felt as though it was more than warranted to smack the existence out of this. Now that that distraction is done with, I can catch the train back to my store and return with all my spoils. However, whilst on the roof of the train station, I find my neighbor has come back yet again to try and finish me off for good this time. That dude must have really wanted a Snickers, and just when I try to give him the melted remains of my pocket Snickers, he opens fire. But it's okay. I forgive him, cause you're not you when you're hungry. The very next day, I repeat my usual morning routine. I wake up, hit the neighbor's cat with my car, hop on the plane, and parachute down to the city. After strip looting the entire hospital for prescription medication to then resell under the table to mentally unstable armed customers, I jump in my car to head to an undisclosed location for my next sale. I then notice the train pulling up alongside me, and if there's anything I hate in life, it's public transport. Despite the obvious disadvantages of generating jobs for the economy and decreasing my carbon footprint, there are some absolute fruitcakes that use public transport. For example, there was this one reoccurring incident on the news for about a month, where this fella who got the nickname Magic Mike would hop on buses in broad daylight and just start stripping naked while singing a variety of Mariah Carey songs. And to be honest with you, his voice wasn't even half bad. And I mean, you've got to make your start somewhere, right? But when the police came, he would yell Alohomora, which is a spell from Harry Potter to open doors, which he was convinced turned them invisible. Then he would get on his hands and knees and then proceed to backwards crab walk out of the bus butt naked. And trust me when I tell you this, that's the absolute last time I'm ever doing crack. I get to the location and wait for my buyer to approach. I opt for the elevated tower because, as the famous Obi-Wan Kenobi quote goes, if you're selling a bit of flour, get on top of the tower. I see my buyer approaching and I decide to utilize my newly learnt sales pitch called busting a cap in his ass and stealing his money. And my god, this man is just eating my high-powered sniper rounds, and he just shrugs it off like it's nothing and runs away. Well, what can I say? Another successful business venture, I guess. While following the detailed and thorough road rules outlined by state law, I find a snazzy-looking bunker ripe for plunder. However, what I fail to see is a giant lorry truck headed straight for me, and despite my fancy footwork and best efforts to juke the giant truck, I'm sent flying halfway across the universe. Wait, hold up. Let's replay that last clip real quick.
Here we go.
Oh, I knew it! Yoda's on another one of his ketamine-fueled vehicular manslaughter rampages. Due to multiple altercations between my neighbor's cat and my car's bonnet, I was forced to move out of Verdansk into a new exotic island just off the coast called, Volvo Hyena Island. And as you would expect, moving to a new city means re-establishing your market presence. So what better way to do this than to show my new neighbor this epic RPG I found. Yeah, so, slight user error there. Yeah, I don't know. Seems like an all good dude though. He must have had a wife or something, because she's pretty keen for a close-up of the RPG as well. Nice people. Definitely nicer than those Verdansk folk. While seeking for business opportunities around the island, I hear gunshots nearby, and all that racket is bad for business. So I quickly take out the survivor of the skirmish. Only sadly the clip was corrupted, so you can't actually see it. But trust me, when it was the most crap kill you've ever seen in your life. Like, absolutely ridiculous. I just jumped around the corner, 360 no scope, in the head, and then he just started crying, and it was, yep. That's what happened. All of a sudden, there are 2 people left, and I'm left to slug it out with a disgusting sweaty gremlin whose name is probably flavorless and horrid like Brandon. Luckily, I have a device that can pick up the scent of fear and sexual frustration in the air, and I skillfully and precisely... Nah, just kidding, I'm using a Mac 10. The sound of victory. And after killing off the entire island, I think my business here is done, and I can now return to Verdansk and continue to reduce the local feline population. Thanks for watching, champs, and don't forget to tap that little subscribe button for more content. Cheers.